And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at Kraken Cryptocurrency. I feel like I have the noise coming back through my headphones here somewhere. Just me? Definitely. All right, so we'll just toss those over there so they don't interrupt the recording because I don't know what button to press to turn those off at the moment. Anyways, hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from and however you're watching us today, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you guys want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. We're going to talk about a whole lot today, guys. Obviously, a little bit of a pullback day in the market so far. Nothing super significant. Whenever we get I guess my habit is always if we come in on a Friday and have a basically lazy pullback day with somewhat of a liquidity raid, somewhat of a stop hunt there. We just chalk it up to Friday profit taking day. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. The bullish trend has not broken. We're in an area where we can see different movements. We'll go through and break all the technicals down. But nothing's really changed from yesterday for me as far as positions go. We recommended 4 new positions yesterday. Those are doing okay. And, overall, it's kind of what I've been trying to impress upon this entire week, which is not overthinking potential bull markets. I find a lot of individuals right now are really, it always happens. It happens at significant market tops. It happens at significant market bottoms. It happens at significant periods of consolidation. It seems like the only narrative is, are we going to break up from here and keep going? Or are we going to break down from here and begin the descent to El Diablo? And look, as a trader, I don't see why people get kind of so caught up in this, right? Because from the perspective of your P&L, of your wins and losses, then you just trade in the direction that your trading strategy tells you to trade. You're either going to be right or you're going to be wrong. If you are wrong if you're wrong more often than you are right over a large enough sample of trades, then you, by definition, are not going to be a very profitable trader. If, on the other hand, you have more wins than losses, then you begin to get more profitable the more losses that you scrape off of your trading history. So people put a lot of personal conviction on their directional bias in periods of market consolidation or at pivot points, what I like to call market hotspots. So where reversals are quite likely and you have a lot of retail traders leveraged to one side. Only problem is we don't have the best possible data to see exactly who's leveraged at all price points. There are some pretty cool tools out there, but again, so consider that. Focus less on your directional bias and focus more on trading well, because part of a good trading strategy should also have a way to get you into a trend eventually, even if you're wrong. I've seen different individuals call these different things, fail safes or snake entries or whatever you like to call them. But for me, they're just part of a continuation system. So for example, if we get a directional trade to go long on an asset that we are not allowed to take, that we don't take for some reason, if that trend is very strong, then eventually it's going to give us one of two things. And we've talked about both of these before. One is a momentum continuation signal, so just a regular continuation signal from your system. Or two, it's going to give you a pullback, right? And we've got a strategy for this called a reversal baseline bounce. So we'll go over those today. But my kind of biggest opening rant, because it's Friday and I want to answer a lot of your guys' questions and just spend a lot of time in the live chat. So my opening rant for today is another concept, because this is what I tend to focus on, is the emotional aspect of trading or the psychological aspect of trading. And that is OTSS, right? Only the strong survive. And, I don't really mean it as morbid as that may sound. What I really mean is that you do have to be brave to be successful in this occupation, because you eventually are going to have to accept the reality that you cannot predict the future, that you're not going to ever know, no matter how experienced you become as a trader, a priori, whether this individual trade will be a winner or a loser. No trader has any idea once they press the buy button or once they press the sell button, whether price is going to go up or go down. You can plot out as many statistics as you like, and you can certainly get to a better answer or a better probability. But at the end of the day, you don't know objectively, because every moment in the market is inherently unique. So you have to be very, very comfortable with that chaos. And eventually, on that same level, when you're developing a trading strategy, there's nobody that's going to be able to come along and tell you, like, yes, this is going to work 100% perfectly all the time, no problem, you got this. You have to have the courage to eventually step your foot out there. And there are safer ways to do this than just jumping into the market with all of your capital on a strategy that you have not traded with live price, such as, we go over that in the 9th module of PTP. But while there are safer ways to do that, eventually you are going to have to enter the markets at some time, and you will scale up your capital with the more success that you see. And that initial step takes a lot of courage. So I just want to take this Friday to congratulate every individual trader watching this channel right now, and who will watch this later on in the future, who have taken those steps to begin implementing their strategy into the marketplace, whatever marketplace you guys want to trade. It's a rare occupation. We're certainly a niche audience here. So just a huge shout out to you guys. Shout out to my traders in the audience. Let's go get this. Bitcoin, I think overall is looking good. Let's see what the weekend has for us. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the live chat. The moderators do not talk as fast as I do, but they're there to help you out. So let's get into it today. All right, a little bit more of the same. Okay, it is hot here. I have no words. I have no words for how hot it is in this office. 3 months potentially. 3 months potentially new office. Going to be looking at decking it out here over the next 2 months. It is going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit of construction, but it's going to be nice. And the central air is going to work there because this office is hot. Woo! I've been in this office for a long time. All right, let's see here. So you guys are gonna have to see the side of my face. How dare they see the side of my face? I gotta pull up the live chat because Restreams is still suboptimal, unfortunately. All right. All right, let me give shout outs to everybody. What do we got? Akash Subramani was waiting for, I don't even know what that means. Crypto Jack, as always. Damian Hughes in the chat. Justin looks exactly like the guy from the Calisthenic Movement YouTube channel. I completely biffed that. Okay, so we're just going to do this Control C. Oh, come on now. Chrome, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Let's see here. Do I look like this guy? This looks like it's NSFW.
When it comes to also increase your coordination, mobility.
You know, I got some slightly better abs than him, but I could see the similarity. Good looking out, my friend. Leonard Ben, good to see you from Ireland. Darren Garish, post-dinner video, good timing. Let's see here. The Pie Guy says, looks like Ethereum is going to go down like a muffa. So we're getting bearish in the house. Pie, don't get bearish on the first red candle. We'll see. Mbate22 says, welcome to Cracking Cryptocurrency, the fastest growing trading community. We are here to help as long as you don't ask us which buttons to press. We tell you which buttons to press. It is the like and the subscribe. You can find them right down below, my friend. What do I think of Cybercoin and Donut on Uniswap? So I'm gonna have to look at the charts. So I am not. There are different edges that I could take advantage of in the marketplace, right? And certainly DeFi, Uniswap, kind of grabbing these low sat coins and accumulating can be a profitable strategy. That's not the personal trading. That's not the trading strategy that I exploit. That's not the edge that I exploit. I've always been a directional trader. I've always been a momentum trader, and that's worked very well for me. So that's what I tend to focus on. From time to time, I will purchase something as a swing trade or as a positional trade. It's not too often in DeFi. I have had some wins. I have had some coins. Like, for example, probably my latest big win on an accumulation position that I picked up was DOC. So I like DOC. I talk about DOC not a lot, but a little bit, and certainly more favorable than most other altcoins. And I scooped that up at some point for a Money Monday not too long ago, or must have been like 4 or 5 months ago. And DOC just had an incredible pump, and that was just a personal trade of mine, and that was a good one. However, so let me see. So carrying on from there, I guess what I mean to say is I don't have any particular opinion about them. I don't really know anything about them off the top of my head. So the most that I can do is kind of look at the chart and go off what I know. I will say this. I will say this about DeFi coins, right? And I don't want to seem too aggressive here. I don't want to seem against my bounds, but eventually, right? Everybody. I think a lot of people are watching this particular area of Bitcoin, and while I do feel quite strongly today that we're going to move up from here before we move down, I think the reason for that is because I think that there's far too much bearish sentiment out there, right? As I said, I trade the signals that my strategy gives me, and that allows me to remain objective. But I can't lie about my opinion. There's a big part of me, guys, as somebody that's been involved with Bitcoin for a very long time, and it's not just the price. It's to see what's going on in the world. It's to know the problems that Bitcoin solves, and to know that inexorably, like a magnet is drawn to its opposite, that the technology so the problems that Bitcoin can solve are coming closer to just not being able to avoid being solved by decentralized technology. And Bitcoin solves many, many problems that I don't think people really understand are at the root cause of some of the social issues that we see today, some of the economic issues that we see today. A lot of the problems that I hear people complain about, right? That I see the news and media focus on. I think that a better financial system fixes those. I think that a better sound money fixes a lot of those problems out of the gate. And it's just really cool to watch. It's been really, really fun the last 4 years of my life to watch Bitcoin grow, to watch the community grow, to watch our community grow, and to know, like, deep down, like, I am on the right side of history. Like, it's down to my individual trading decisions how I financially prosper from the movements. But promoting something that I think, as an investment of mine, that is a technology that is good for humanity, that is good for the world, that is what we need right now. It's good. It's good. It's a good feeling to know that you're on the right side of history. All right. Damien Hughes says, I try to find 5-1 setup so I can be wrong a lot when I learn this stuff and still make money. Crypto Jack says, I can see the resemblance. Oh, you guys are so mean. Let's see here. Getting started now at 2x in a bit. Good to see you, my friend Dare Student. All right. Blue Box Territory says, that is a terrible shill of your bag. You're talking about Doc? I sold my Doc. So the only thing that that's funny. He's like, I'm glad you don't put out signals. I do. They're actually pretty good. Would you like to see them? Yes, I will. It's a very good feeling. Listen, I'll have you know this, right? Everybody has got, well, not everybody. I meet so many crypto cynical people. Like, they're in cryptocurrency and they're just in this constant malaise of, I don't know, man. I just think the bear market is going to continue forever, and blah. And I'm like, okay, so you have no fundamental faith in anything that you claim to have invested in. Why? I don't understand why you're here. And it's because, I understand why they're here. Many, many individuals drift through life without making a lot of conscious choice, right? They are kind of blown from circumstance to circumstance, and many individuals will take the easy way out, right? This is just an unfortunate trope, especially the more it seems as we kind of put the years on here in the 21st century. So, yeah, I think a lot of people don't know. I think a lot of people don't understand the real responsibility and the real courage it takes to make your own decisions, and to be okay with being wrong, but to also get to enjoy that maybe supreme joy of being righteously right. Like when you were right about something and you told people that you were right about something and they didn't listen to you and you did it anyways and you were right. And you get to brag about it at the 10-year high school graduation. Oh, no, not Doc. I think he meant Jack's XFT. Well, come on. Jack works hard. Pump his bag. You guys are being too hard on Jack. Let me know if you guys want me to turn some music on, but I think we're going to start off by with our regular major cryptocurrency market analysis. So we'll do Bitcoin, we'll do Ethereum, we'll look at Ripple, Litecoin, all that stuff for you guys. And then we'll take a brief pause, see if individuals want to come on for live chat today. So I'm going to bring Jack on a little bit later so we can break down the news. And following that, What I'd like to do is, if there are any premium members in the audience, you guys can come into the green room, the voice channel on Discord, and we will drag you up to talk in the live chat. The only thing we ask is that you guys use push to talk. So if we get multiple people in there, it doesn't get chaotic, and that we're pretty tolerant on the show, but please try to have a quality microphone. You know, just something. Please do not use the Bluetooth headset on your cell phone while you are driving to work. That would be highly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's Mbate says, I am amazing at being wrong. I must be more courageous than I thought. Listen, Mbate, whenever you want to sit down and make that reversal indicator, I got you, man. We'll just do the exact opposite. All right, so good that I got the chat here now. I like seeing that here. Thank you so much to Pie Guy. I feel you. Listen, it is Friday. I've had a pretty good week, and yeah, you know, especially today, especially the last few days, I just felt this vibe of negativity, like throughout the markets, throughout the news. I always feel it from the news. That's why it's caustic for the most part, at least mainstream media news. And you know, sometimes you just gotta let people know that, you know, like, and I think people need to remember it, right? You know, a lot of people, maybe you guys watching the show, you know, you've been in Bitcoin for a while. Maybe you entered during the 2018 bear market, so you entered on a negative, or maybe you entered, you know, on the 2016 or 2017 rally, moving to the upside. And so you've seen a bull market. You've seen how rapidly price can move to the upside. You can see how something that is such an unknown like Bitcoin can be moved very rapidly. And again, this is a dynamic of liquidity and market participants, but still, it's very impressive to see it when it happens and to know that it is something special when it happens on Bitcoin. To know all the fundamentals behind Bitcoin, but still to have like stayed in Bitcoin this long, it has not been for anybody that got into Bitcoin, I want to say, obviously after December 2017, but it hasn't been the miraculous fun ride that some of those people were promised. Some of those from 2016, 2017 still do not feel like it's been the miraculous fun ride that they were intending. But I mean, you got to keep the faith, man. You only get to have, I don't think you're going to be a very trustworthy or wise individual if you just wholeheartedly believe in a ton of different things, right? Like, you really need to do your due diligence if you're going to proclaim, I think with any kind of credibility, that you have deep, deep faith in something, right? Maybe just one thing. Maybe everybody just gets one, but let's just be generous. Let's say everybody gets 2 or 3. That means that in your lifetime, we would expect you to review deeply, like all the material of what you proclaim, whether it's a religion or whether it's a science or whether it's just anything, literally anything. Before I think we feel socially comfortable with people going around saying, yeah, I mean, I believe in this so earnestly with such conviction. Obviously, that's not the situation. Obviously, we see lots and lots of people go around and proclaim lots of conviction for certain things. And it's a huge red flag because it's very easy to falsely portray conviction in something, right? For the benefit of profit or money or what have you. It's another thing to have that, to really actually have that conviction. So, and again, this goes back to, well, that requires you to do your homework and be knowledgeable on the topic. And a lot of people just want the gains without the knowledge. And you can certainly have the gains without the knowledge. And speaking of gains without knowledge, let's look at this Bitcoin chart. All right, so price currently sitting at about 11,566 here on the Bitfinex chart. And honestly, with this PTP system, with this combination of indicators right here, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. Let's go and look at yesterday's daily close. Yesterday's daily close was a pretty squat doji. Squat dojis are somewhat significant, or people point them out to be significant. However, if you back test them, they are not as significant as one thinks. So kind of what I think the price action interpretation of what we're currently seeing right now, a couple different ways we could look at this, but if I had to pick a scenario or a setup that I thought fit this most validly, and keep in mind what I'm about to explain, I'm not going to trade this because this goes against what I see with my indicators, and they tell me to be long right now. because we're looking for the breakout and continuation here above 12,000. But right now we could see a justification, right? Like a chartist, quote unquote, could say what we're seeing here is some will call it a failure to achieve, and some will call it a swing failure pattern. Now, it will not be either until tomorrow's daily close, right? If we close below this low, so if we form a second low, so two candles with lower highs on either side would form a swing high. So that would be a swing failure pattern where price has made a high on decent volume and then pulls back and then comes up for trying to break that resistance, but it is unable to, right? So it's not able to make a new high. It rejects, and then the classical way to take this trade setup, or a swing failure pattern or a failure to achieve, is when price then closes below that support. In my experience, looking at these setups on Bitcoin particularly, which I'm not going to sit here and claim to have a broad visual knowledge of how these patterns look on a lot of other cryptocurrencies. I can certainly say that I pay attention to my patterns on Bitcoin, even though I don't trade them, but I pay attention to them because I'm looking for pattern recognition. And I'm always looking for any edge that I can implement in my trading system, whether that might be something that intuitively I don't like or have faith in and trust. It's all about the data, right? I've said this before. Life is very much. I was talking about this yesterday. So if you guys were watching yesterday, you know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I said life is less about, your individual ego and yourself, because people wrap their trading strategy up with their ego. They think it's, for example, if they have a losing trade, they think they made a losing trade. No, the system that you created generated a loss. That's all that happened. Okay. And if you allow your system to run long enough, you can objectively determine what is wrong with it and begin implementing small changes to better improve your system. Very similarly to when you were creating your system in the first place, you can objectively measure how well it's performing if you do this versus that versus that. So it's not really you. It is your strategy, and this is true of many different aspects in life, right? Most people, if an individual doesn't have a lot of friends, for example, or they feel poor or low social status, they will naturally kind of feel like they're a loser. But they're probably not. They just have a poor social strategy. And social strategies are supposed to be taught to us by our parents or by our society as we're a kid. But we've nuclearized a lot of what we do, right? We just put everybody in front of televisions and now in front of gaming consoles and in front of tablets, and we don't get a lot of that socialization. So saying there's hope out there. All you got to do is just pick up a different strategy. It's going to be better than what you're currently doing right now if your current strategy sucks. Okay. Okay, sorry. Somebody said, do not use the mic Midwest has. I wouldn't mind 3 kids in the background, right? Well, for those of you who have been watching the show for a long time, we have had unexpected interruptions. Is the 50% code still good? And do I have to get a year subscription? How does one get a month? Darren Garish asks. So as far as the 50% off code, there will be an expiration date on it if it was sent to you. And if there's any confusion about that, you can email support@krakencryptocurrency.com. That's their support desk. And they'll be able to answer that question for you because they'll have all the records there in the database. As far as do you have to get a year subscription? No, you can purchase whatever you like. And on the website, show you here. I don't want my keyboard so far away from me. I'm afraid to touch it. On the website, you just simply go to plans and pricing. And here at the top, you can switch between annual plans and monthly plans. It's just this slider at the top to switch from all of our annual packages, which would give you a discount and allow you to receive this at this rate for 12 months or month by month, where you can set up recurring payments or however you'd like to do it. Let's see here. You guys are getting into it. Crypto Caveman says, watching from a beautiful gym of a place by the water. Azriel says we're going to zero. Come on, man. Just going to start mining again. I got like three computers over there that I've torn apart over the last couple days. Got all the GPUs out, all the CPUs out. I'm like, let's turn them on. All right, let's go to let's see here. Oh, we have alerts. Nuke Joseph, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube. Highly appreciate it. Let's see here. Yogesh Sony says, "Lol, he kicked me from server without any reason." That is not true, sir. I did kick you from the server for a very good reason. For the exact same reason I'm going to hide you on this channel. And you know, it's a little weird when somebody says they're not into you and then you just like keep coming back. So, okay, man. Talked about that socialization, right? Tablets and stuff. Okay, so back to Bitcoin. So we talked about the kind of price action. Apologize if I went on it, if I went off on a tangent and didn't kind of finish that, but we were talking about a price action trade setup here, which would be a reversal trade called a swing failure pattern, where we fail to make a higher high following a dip in a bullish trend. And again, classically, the way to trade these is to wait for the break here of, I would call it like about 10,900, but we could use the low of this candle, certainly. Excuse me, the open of this candle. All right, roll it back. Use take 3. The close of this candle, because it is a red candle, so that would mark the lowest close of that range. And I personally prefer those areas to utilize rather than wicks, because we're talking quite a bit of distance on some of these Bitcoin wicks, right? So 10,932, a daily close below 10,932, and you would be looking for a short trade. Not a big fan of those trade setups personally. Mr. Hut QC resubscribing for 14 months. Thank you so much, my friend. Highly appreciated. Twitch love in the house. Appreciate it. That feeling when you switch from the 4-hour chart to the 30-minute chart, forget and crap yourself because the price looks like it has completely crashed. Yeah, we could go down to the like 5-minute chart here and just feel like we're at the March meltdown. Perspective. Can I put the VSPR on? Akash Subramani, thanks so much for the sub over there on YouTube as well. I appreciate it. All right, so let me reread what you said here. You said the VSPR. All right. Well, there is the VPVR and the VSPV. So I'm gonna put on VPSV. Fingers crossed. Did I get it? Did I win? 30 minutes. Oh, it's obviously don't have that highlighted for some reason. Okay. What do you want to look at, my friend? So let's go ahead and tell you what I see on this kind of granular level of Bitcoin's price action. VPSV lets us know, so this red line indicates the point of control. So this is the area, this is the horizontal level by which the most volume was transacted on this candle. And this allows us to pinpoint more important areas of liquidity. So for example, if a lot of volume was transacted in a certain place and then price returns under a certain condition, we could, I mean, ultimately we're looking for opportunities for trade setups, but really objectively what this just does is give us a better granularity of exactly at what horizontal price levels more volume was traded. Now, we could, of course, aggregate this ourselves by downloading the entire order book history and then summing them up. And there's different platforms and charts and all kinds of stuff that does this. But I really like the volume profile features here on TradingView. He wanted the VPVR. Okay, I apologize. We were just about to start having fun with the VPSV, man. I will say this, a couple So I have a VPSV strategy, one that we use to trade, actually 3 different setups that we look for when trading specifically the 30-minute chart, specifically Bitcoin with its own risk to reward setup. You guys can find that on the drive, which will soon be on the Online Trading Academy. With regards to, just lost it. Not too much going on over here. All right, we're just going to move along. I'm sure it'll pop back into my head in a bit. But we'll look at the VPVR. So let me know if this will suffice, because this is the weekly chart, and this was my previous VPVR analysis. I'm going to have to like scale this a little bit better now that price has moved quite a bit. So if we go in here and set this down to 10, can you please get smaller? Probably not, no. It's going to remain huge and be weird to move around. All right, current log chart. But this was my previous weekly analysis. We're getting closer to a weekly close. Excuse me. Yes. 2 little tricks about the VPSV, right? 2 things that I've noticed with good hit rate and good regularity. One is, so maybe I can only remember one at the moment, but one certainly is I would say certainly more often than it doesn't that it is significant, right? Which to me roughly puts things around 65%, right? Above 60%. But I do think that with how strongly this jumps out at me, it's actually probably higher than that. When price trades past a day's session VPSV, so in the right here in the VPSV chart, every box here, every kind of bluish box is a day. Right? That's a session. A session is considered a day. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. Cryptocurrency markets are 24 hours, so a session is 24 hours. But for example, if the market is only open 5 hours, then it's going to be a 5-hour. It's going to be a 5-hour session. It's however long the trading hours are open. Obviously, on cryptocurrency exchanges, we're open 24/7. About again a significant number of times that I notice it more often than not. When price trades past a day's sessions VPSV, it will often come back and back past the previous day's VPSV, right? So basically saying that Bitcoin is actually pretty generous as an asset class in giving you multiple opportunities to get back into the direction of the trend. One nuance there. If I can remember the other one while we're going along, I will. All right. So, all right. We've got some cryptocurrency buyers in the chat. I want to know if you guys are, I know where I am at with Bitcoin. I've made my recommendations. I got a pretty firm grasp on where we're heading. But kind of interested what you guys are doing. Are you guys looking to accumulate spot on this movement to the downside, or are you actually going to be utilizing this opportunity to open up leveraged positions, right? Because remember, when we had spoke last, and basically since we spoke last, but since Bitcoin put this candle in right here on the 27th, at least what I've recommended for the group is to not apply leverage, right? If we're looking for daily swing or positional trades, right? I don't think right now is the appropriate time to apply leverage. We can get a pullback. Generally, in my experience, even though I could say, well, listen, if you're using margin responsibly, right? So if you're doing a 2x or 3x position on something that's relatively sizable, there's a cogent way to do this. There's a better way to do this, right? All trading involves risk. Certainly applying margin involves additional risk, but there are safer, certainly ways to do it. And the way that we trade utilizes a lot of margin. I mean, I don't trade normal spot BTC USD. I trade margined BTC USD. It's easier and requires less capital. But I have learned that just with my experience doing the show and having so many individuals in the group and, individuals that kind of look over my work and may or may not have the same experience or wisdom of another member reading the exact same signal or the exact same advice. It's always better to err on the side of caution when you're creating printed word or recorded word medium for public dissemination to be more conservative. Because the individuals who want to be aggressive are going to be aggressive, whether you tell them to or not. And the individuals who are going to be conservative are going to be conservative, no matter what you tell them to do. So I think it's better to err on the side of caution, because people who are reckless are going to be reckless. Doesn't really matter what you tell them. But anyways, so let's go back and look at this weekly chart. All right. So this, so far as we can see it, is not only reaccumulation in a high volume node and a breakout of that. It is also well, I'm not gonna lie here. I felt good in my head when I was constructing the sentence, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it's just impressive enough that this is pretty classic moving up into a high volume node, reaccumulation, and continuation to the upside. So again, we've got well, let me actually start out simpler. Let's go to the daily here and let's look at the PTP system that we're trading this week. Okay, we're going to take VPSV back off. We're going to get off of the, okay, cool. We're already off the 30. We're just going to go with the daily. And we can see here that there is nothing telling us that we should be exiting a trade currently on this candle, or that we're in a bearish trend. We're in a bullish trend. And if you guys know anything about how we do things around here, when the trend is bullish, we trade in the direction of the trend. And I think that one simple rule, if there was one mistake you could have not made on Bitcoin, right? That I would, let's say that I compiled a list of all the common problems I've seen traders have through my years of mentoring and helping individuals create strategies. It would probably be the most costly mistake that people make with Bitcoin is trading against the trend. Bitcoin is a momentum asset class. Let me rephrase that. Bitcoin is a momentum asset class. I think that's a fairly nonsensical term, actually. I hear it quite a bit, to the point where it's just become part of my nomenclature. Bitcoin is a low volatility, a low cap asset, and it gets lots of liquidity injected into it in quick shots. And that makes price do crazy things, like move up very fast, move down very fast. Okay. All right. Spoiled the end for you. Obviously altcoins, because they're lower liquidity and lower cap, do more of the same. You'll see this, you'll see the exact same behavior with penny stocks. So there's not a whole lot of difference here. Just the conditions that need to be there to allow high volatility to enter into the market, and thus high momentum trades. But Bitcoin particularly, it tends to continue going in the direction in which it's going. There is a logical absurdity end to this, because nothing can go up all the time. But certainly, when you're in a bullish trend on Bitcoin, it is paid to long pullbacks and expect continuation. All right, let me finish going through here. That was the only thing of significance that I wanted to kind of point out, was the VPVR. So far, the weekly continuation. I wanted to talk about that price action setup. Again, it's not something that I'm going to trade, because A, it's going to be trading in the opposite direction in which I want to be trading, and B, because it's not confirmed. Remember that if one did want to take a swing failure pattern trade, then you do need a second candle to close. So you want a high, a candle that makes a lower high, which is what we have here, right? Swing failure pattern is market makes a high, market fails to make another high, so makes a lower high by definition. And then this is where my strategy and other strategies will differ. So the three ways I've seen to take for the confirmation after you have that initial setup for a swing failure pattern is either A, what I just laid out, which is you get two lower highs, sequentially. So two lower highs on each candle, which we can see would be right here if we printed in another bearish candle tomorrow. And that's one way to do it. That's the way I prefer to do it. I think that's the easiest way to do it. And the other two ways to do it are when price closes below that level of support that I talked about. So when it closes below the low that it formed. So again, swing failure pattern, price makes a high, price makes a low, and then price makes a lower high. And then when price breaks that low, that's the initiation right there. The third method, and so let me say this, I do not like that second method. I don't like that. Unless you were going to also look at candle body size and volume for breakout metrics, right? Like we use time transformation, and we've talked about analyzing the size of the candle body and the lack of wick. The less wick, the better, right? You want a nice, strong candle body close on high volume coming out of a period of consolidation, and that's generally good confirmation that you have a breakout and not a fake out. If, on the other hand, it is a high volume move, but with a very long wick, often going to be rejection. Unless we're talking about dent, right? In that case, that thing just continues to keep on going. So the third method, is price makes another lower low, right? So in that instance, we would have price forming a high, price forms a low, price forms a lower high, and then you actually want price to make a lower low. And you in this instance, you would open up a short sell, not when price makes a lower low. You then have to wait for it to come back and make another lower high, and you short the third lower high, right? That's what you do. I think that's probably the oldest way to do it. I don't know. I'm not a historian of price action setups. I just have a good memory of what I've seen and what I've used and what I've seen people talk about. When you've been trading, when you've been trading, you guys will know this. You guys will build up more and more and more trading knowledge, and you had the longer you trade. Crypto Jack is looking for a buying opportunity under $300. Let's say $266. It's going to take Bitcoin a lot to get there. We're talking about Ethereum. Do I think Bitcoin has more power to run? I have not looked at here in a second. All right. Okay. So gold and pretty much everything that's valuable is going to give us a nice pullback today. Why not? It's okay. I think that gives individuals, well, listen, assuming all information continues, assuming that the charts continue to progress as they are right now, then what this likely does, or what this sets up for us anyways, is those who haven't acted on particular trades yet get an opportunity to buy at a lower price, or perhaps reversal baseline bounces. And that's the assumption that we persist on until the trend changes. At the beginning of the show, I talked about directional bias. And if I had to just express the simplest way to deal with the problem that I see, a huge psychological problem in young traders. And again, this is anxiety. Like not being confident of your trade when you take it. All right, one second. Not being confident in your trade when you take it. Let's say you, like I, let's say you took a long on gold spot yesterday, right? And you're in drawdown now. Okay. So there are a few things that I could do right now. All right. Really the possibilities are almost endless here, but we'll just go over the major ones, right? I could decide to close out my trade immediately in a loss and just cut my loss as quickly as possible. I mean, that is certainly a strategy to cutting loss, but in my experience, we want to be a little bit more objective with that, right? Like one candle does not a trend break make, right? So how many times have we entered into a position, we've seen price move the opposite way for a day or two and then take off right back in our direction? If we end up exiting the trade because we're afraid, because we see a different candle color than we wanted to see, well, I don't know if that's the best analysis of the market. It's just the color of the candle. So that's one method, just cutting your losses and getting out of there. Method two would be, not really do anything, but sit here and check the chart a lot more often, and maybe like stay up a little bit later so I keep my eye on it. Like, where's it going to close? Oh my God, I don't want to live like that. I really don't want to live like that. So there's a few other things that one could do as well. One could be aggressive and say, well, price is cheaper, I'm going to buy more. Unless you have that very systematically laid out how you position size in, certainly scaling into a position is a strategy. I talk about it in one of the lessons on the Online Trading Academy, Google Drive, that will soon be Online Trading Academy. Yeah, for most individuals, that's going to be a little bit more advanced. They want to I find it a little disconcerting that some very popular bots, like just right out of the bat, offer DCA strategies, and see people like them because DCA bots, like you'll find them on 3 commas, and certainly you can create good DCA bots, but it's just not that simple. You will never be able to just turn a bot on with the best settings and just let it run forever. The bot is going to run into circumstances where it starts suffering heavy losses. And one reason why I think a lot of newer traders just pick up these DCA strats, these DCA bots, because they're a dime a dozen, they're cheap to make. Initially, they look good. Like you're returning some decent profits, right? And so maybe you decide to take a little bit more risk and put more money into this kind of portfolio that's doing these automated strategies, and you make a compound bot. Now you're running more pairs. That's all well and good if you are going to take it seriously. But if you have a DCA strategy and all of a sudden you have a significant market turn and everything is going down red like cryptocurrency can do, you're going to lose a lot of money on that day, perhaps more than you made, because the losses hurt more because you're scaling in more as you go down. So if you hit your stop loss, you're going to be hitting it with a relatively high position size versus the quantity of the position size that gets filled on average when you have a win, right? So general rule of thumb is that if you have a DCA strategy that buys 10 times, then on average, let's say it gets filled, 5 times on a win. Well, it's getting filled twice as much on a loss, right? And you remember you're buying more as you go down. So the losses hurt more. DCA strats are good. Bots are nice to have running with low risk, low capital. They can keep you active in some markets. And there are some circumstances where if one is experienced enough, you can kind of open the floodgates on them and allow in more risk. But you got to be really careful with that stuff, man. People want that. People want that instant gratification. People want that easy fix. People want the just the clean, objective data in front of them, the results of what they purchased or what they did. And real trading is a little bit more granular, a little bit more fighting in the mud. All right, so after that segue to ERD BTC, yes, we have a runny nose today. So did my daughter this morning. So pray for the household this weekend, guys. All right, so BTC USD moving down. Let's just go take a look at crypto bubbles. What do you guys expect we're going to see after we give it a nice refresh? Maybe not yet. Do we see altcoins pumping yet? I think they're starting to maybe wake up. I don't know. So, excuse me, this is against USD. Let's go look against BTC. What do you know? What do you know? Altcoins are holding their value in BTC more. So what does that mean? As Bitcoin is dumping, individuals are moving their coins, their Bitcoin into altcoins, right? And this is going to push altcoins up for a little bit. So let's see, do we see that turnaround? I'm not exactly sure how the weekend's going to play out insofar as momentum or where we end up closing. I don't really have a lot on the chart to suggest that for me. What we can do, I can offer you what I have, which is my current roadmap, which has our current levels of support and resistance. But I don't really see any significant structures up here at this level to start plotting something out like I had done down here when I had identified a rectangle top. And then we had talked about this descending channel, even though I didn't really trade the descending channel. I just talked about it. And then we broke up above these long-term diagonal resistance trend lines. So I only, because I only trade strategy-based, indicator-based strategies. I tend not to, that's 2 truths and a lie. So primarily, the majority of all my capital is traded by indicator strategies that I've developed via the Pathways to Profit method. Now, there are a few other strategies that I utilize. There are discretionary trades that I take, but they're pretty rare. They're pretty rare nowadays. I get a lot. I don't want to say a lot, but there's a question that I get often enough, and I think it's germane to answer here. And it's like, why, Justin, like I was asked about the Uniswap coins earlier, and I said, that's not really my thing. I'm not a technology expert. I mean, I'm pretty savvy, I'm pretty sharp, but I'm just not in the best position currently, I think, to have an edge on that market where I can stay where I am and have a nice edge. And, I guess a logical question to that, and one that I get is, well, why aren't you more interested in like learning this edge or applying that strategy or doing this? Because what I do works, a large, I'm 32. A large portion of my 20s, I was, in one way, shape, or another, searching for something to fill a void. And I think a lot of young people are until they find their way. And when getting a little older, again, 32, trying to be appreciative of what I have, I've been able to make a good living for myself and my family, and repeatedly extract profit from the market, which is not easy to do. I think it's relatively easy with the right strategy, but the issues that traders will have are psychological and emotional. They're not technical. They're psychological and emotional. You will not lose. You will not be a losing trader because of the indicators that you use, or maybe the price action setup that you utilize. You're gonna lose money over and over again because of poor discipline, poor routine, and just poor adherence to rules, and poor position sizing is probably the first thing that blows people out right away. They use too big of risk on losing trades, or trades that are statistically losers, and too few positions on trades that actually end up generating the money. So in net P&L, they don't actually end up making that much money, if any at all. With regards to ERD BTC, broadly about the BTC markets, we're moving into the weekends. I think we are in a better position for alts to pump a little bit more than Bitcoin. If Bitcoin kind of maintains this, I don't think we're going to fall off the map like people are worried about. But if we tilt down a little bit more, or if we kind of stay steady, then I think we can see alt Bitcoins moving up. So one thing to watch there closely is really what the USDT pair is doing. But this also depends on your priorities in trading. Do you want to stack sats? Do you want to just earn more Bitcoin so that you have a lot of Bitcoin or more Bitcoin for the upcoming run? Or are you just here to increase your USDT? In which case, if all the dollar-based markets are going down, then you probably want to be looking for short-term shorts, right? If that is your strategy. Otherwise, I think for most people, especially the viewers of this channel that are looking to just trade the more pronounced trends, I think you just don't do anything. Just sit back. Don't freak out on one candle. Because I don't think I actually got to finish this point earlier, about what I would do if I had bought gold and I was in that losing position. So rather than pull up the gold chart and embarrass myself again, I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin with the same context. So let's say that you had entered long on Bitcoin last night, and then you wake up to this, right? You're like, blood running in the streets and cats and dogs sleeping together. Oh my God, we're going to pull back all weekend. I think that the best strategy for psychological well-being is just to have a plan. My plan is, if price gives me an exit, or if price closes below this line here, then I'll exit the trade. That's it. Other than that, I just sit here and wait. All right. Mustafa Mohammed wants to take a look at BTT. So just kind of concluding notes here on, that was English. Concluding notes here on Elrond Bitcoin. From a technical perspective, we have pulled back to the baseline on the daily time frame, put in a little bit of support here, a little bit of a double bottom and a higher low here. And we are having a decent little candle here. Let's look at the volume, the objective volume, and then we'll look at the volume. Yeah, so it's really not, doesn't show that much conviction, right? Trades like this are a little tricky because you're essentially buying a reversal baseline bounce or a reversion to the mean strategy. I wouldn't call this a reversal strategy because the trend is still bullish and you're just buying a pullback essentially, right? So you're buying a pullback to ride it long. And when I do this, when I buy pullbacks to go long, I target one ATR from my baseline or from my entry. And the other target is always going to be a new high, right? You're looking for a new high, but that's discretionary. That's where you would want to take off 50% of your position. So you want to, in my opinion, when trading a setup like this, where you're buying a pullback in a bullish market or shorting a correction in a bearish market, or shorting a rally, in a bearish market, but correction there would be to the upside, just as in a bull market, a correction would be to the downside. In that particular circumstance, you want to take off some portion of profit within the range, like within an area that you've traded in, within a price level between the previous high and the current low. So regardless of the circumstance for this particular price range, it would be from here to well, obviously somewhere from your entry, right? But you want to take profits somewhere between there and there. And I think about 50%, 60% is about a good price. Again, I think the best targets can also be measured with, maybe not the best, but certainly good targets are measured with Quadriga as well. But, targeting about 50% of the move is pretty popular and logical as well. Now, so the problem then is if we are hesitant with a trade setup like this, where we look at the volume, we're like, well, this isn't really impressive, and we can see that our confirmer has gone negative, and we can see that our initiator is, while not generating a bearish signal yet, has turned bearish. So for me, I wouldn't this would not be a trade setup that I take, regardless of whether it's a winner or a loser. What I would say is that if this is a trade setup that you want to take, it makes more sense to take it now or relatively soon than tomorrow if you're looking for like more volume confirmation. Like, well, we'll just wait until we get another green candle. Because if you're only targeting like 50% of the move in the first place, you don't really have a lot more room to run. So these are riskier setups. They can be profitable. It's just you're going to have to backtest the specific way that you take these trades. And you'll have your rough results there. And you can decide whether you want to be aggressive or not. All right. So we're waiting for 10,000 subs here on YouTube. All right. I think it's a good time for me to try and find something over here on the OBS. Just give me 1 second, guys. Media source. Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. Boom, there we go. All right. So probably not the best. We'll try that one more time for posterity, guys. Make you sit through that one more time. And come on. No? Well, now they just don't want to work. That's amazing. Ah, there they go. Yes. If you guys are enjoying the analysis, if you guys enjoy the channel, if you guys enjoy the energy, if you are also pumped up on a beautiful Friday, then make sure to hit the like button on this video on YouTube. Help us end the shadow ban. Subscribe if you have not already. And if you subscribe, turn on all notifications. That does help us out. People don't realize how much that helps. We really appreciate it. If you're over on Twitch or D-Live, you can support us with a follow or a subscription as well. And what else? Today's show is brought to you by me. Well, really, I guess I'm wearing the Bybit shirt. Today's show is not brought to you by Bybit, but I do want to mention, because we really haven't been mentioning it, but the World Series of Trading. WSOT. So registration begins on August 10th. I think there's like 7 days left. I think registration's open right now, so you can go register. And registration is open until I guess it's a 9-day registration. So, but anyways, you got plenty of time to go register if you guys have not already. I don't have any. I think I can just pull it up right here. There it is. Here we go. Yeah. A Bybit, very similar to the Bybit Brawl that they put on that's almost a year ago now, wasn't it? Wow. Yeah, okay, so that was cool. We had a lot of fun at the last Bybit trading competition. I don't see BitMEX, which is the worst exchange out there, doing this. I don't see Binance doing this. I don't see Deribit doing this. Binance does some giveaways and stuff, but I don't see them doing this stuff. This is fun. If you guys want to come out and trade with us and represent the Kraken cryptocurrency team, I really want to thank, let me see how I can find it on here. We were just here. English. View all troops. Yeah. View from, yeah, because they're showing 50 down. But we are, of all the squads across the world, across the wide world, we're number 43, or at least we were this morning in number of traders participating. So, get 10, 20 more people, we bump that up, be in the top 20s, top 10s. So come help us show off our indicator skills. Come help show off our trading skills. Earn some free rewards, free prizes. Trade safely. Don't do anything out of the normal realm that you would do. There is no accolade that you could possibly hope to get from a trading competition that would make you that would justify you taking additional risk. So just trade safely, just trade responsibly, and come join us and have fun. You guys can sign up for this at it's wsot.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Let me make sure I did that right. wsot.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Boom. Here we go. 26, and we are ready to rock. So we got a lot of almost all of the regulars in there. A lot of good premium members. So you get it. Okay. Now, pull the chat back up. Don Cannon says, when you see people wearing t-shirts saying the bull market is coming, you know it's the strongest signal to short. You know, yes, it is the strongest signal to short. See? He's picking up the hidden language. Don Cannon waited very, very patiently for a red candle to say that. CC problems. You are angry when you net 18% instead of 20% on a single trade. Yes. Yeah, just wear this shirt while we push the sell button. You will be compensated. You know, real talk. I have only so we have never. I've never been compensated to wear merchandise on the stream. Listen, I'm not saying that that there's some fine watch companies out there that I would gladly hand model for if they would like to take advantage of my stream. But we're a niche audience, man. Listen, I like this. I wear this shirt because I like it, and I like Bybit. That's why of the very few products and services that I promote, when people come to me and they say, Justin, where should I go to trade? I'm going to tell you Bybit, especially if you're new to trading, because I think that their interface is clean. I think that it's easy to learn. You're not just engulfed with this altcoin sea of madness that Binance initially presents you. And it takes 5 minutes to learn how to trade on their platform if you know nothing. So, my tutorial is like 45 minutes long, and then we got another tutorial, so maybe longer than 5 minutes, but it's simple. And again, the moment this changes, again, my opinions are subject to change, but so far it hasn't changed. I have seen several, let's say, instances in the market, right, where something has gone not quite right on Bybit, and without fail, they fixed it, right? They have offered refunds, they've offered rebates, they've given direct bonuses to individuals, and I don't see many other platforms do that. So one way you can interpret that is, well, these guys have mistakes. Yeah, not really, not more so than any other exchange. The way I interpret that is, well, at least these people at this point in time act like they care, right? Their actions seem to show that. So when their actions change, my opinion might. All right, so I am going to, listen, sorry about this, guys, but I need about 30 seconds. Will I be using Trust Swap for subs in the future? I don't know if we're on the same wavelength right now, but you know. All right, so we will be, you know what I was going to do? I was going to play the Bybit ad because that's a good 30-second filler. But I will play, listen, it's been a long time. Let's bring him back. I don't, hold on a second. Let me get this thing on. Okay, cool. Getting word there from junior analyst, Midwest attempts on something going down with the Bitcoin weather out there. A storm is brewing. Let's check in with Jason and see what the weather's looking like out there in Bitcoin City.
No, that's what I told him. I told him that. Yeah, we're going to push it up about 12.2 and then let everyone know that we're feeling bearish about it. And then let's pump that shit up to 14. You know what I mean? No. Yes. No. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, things are looking super bearish, man. Super bearish. Get your shorts on. Yeah, they're a bunch of idiots. No. Yes. All right. I love you. And back to you, Justin.
All right. Yeah, I had to get your shorts on so much that it took me a second to unpause the screen. So sorry about that. That lower thirds wasn't supposed to come up. Yeah, give me let me pull open Mr. Here you are. All right. What else to do? Well, I know we've got a ton of requests, so let's take a few of these requests, and then let's pull Jack on and talk about the news. It's about 1:09. We do have today's community mentoring session for our premium members at 2 p.m. Pretty sure it's at 2 p.m. It's at 3 p.m. That would be better, but I don't make the calendar. I'm pretty sure it's at 2 p.m. Give me a second while I check that. Yeah, it is at 2 p.m. All right, so let's see what you guys have for me today. Things engagement. All right, so JD Dewart had asked, what do I think of Cybercoin and Donut on Uniswap? Again, I think that probably the better edge for these coins is going to be, if I'm being frank, like what we used to call, or what I'll loosely call, like you know, you've heard of sentiment analysis, like shillament analysis. So you know, this is like the old Ian Bellina strategy, right? Like you go and you basically evaluate is the project good, right? Because if the project's good, then you have a higher probability to be lucky, right? Like value in something like a startup product is an actual element that some may detect. Now, it's not always true that if something is actually valuable or good, that it will lead to a strong security price or asset price. But it just means that you have a much higher probability. Because if you don't have good fundamentals, if you have a terrible project, they don't even have a white paper, then you're banking on it being shilled. Now, don't get me wrong, it will get shilled. Some will make money, most will lose all. But you got a chance. So I think that if you can go look at just the way that you would probably trade penny stocks, in the same way that people traded ICO coins. I'm not sure how many in the audience right now were here actively trading in the trenches in 2017. It was crazy. Out of nowhere, it seemed, and it had been around since 2016, but it just ramped up in 2017. Everywhere you looked, there were YouTube streams, and now all of these professionals or whatever, man, like, talking about investing in ICOs. And granted, a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of people lost a lot of money. So again, I think the people that ended up doing the best with investing in ICOs were the ones that, to the best of their ability, tried to pair quality product of the quality of the product, quality of the project with the fundamentals of the project, right? Because listen, we saw what Hex did this year. We've seen what a lot of other assets based, honestly, mostly off of hype and not a lot of objective data, right? So I'm not going to throw my hat into the ring too strongly here on the Chainlink debacle, but some pretty damning evidence that came out, right? And when you begin looking objectively at Chainlink, and again, I don't want to piss off any of the Link Marines here because I feel you guys. Link was fun. It might still be fun for another whatever, but not a lot has objectively been done, right? I don't run any Link on my computer. I don't have anything that runs Link or uses Link as an oracle. So, let's see here. We've got SABI. He says, I recently signed up for premium. So, I can be real negative about this. Thank you so much for joining our premium group. I appreciate it, man. TA on Litecoin USD, please. Let's go. Let's rock. let's go off on LTC USD. All right, so I have to assume, or I'm going to, right? I don't have to, but I'm going to, that the dollar pairs are going to continue on with the trend of Bitcoin, right? Rising tide lifts all boats. If BTC USD broadly continues to move up, everything else valued against the dollar in the crypto market sector is pretty much going to go up. And if Bitcoin goes sideways or pulls back slightly, you're going to see all BTC pairs go up. So if you're kind of looking for that, what do I trade, alt BTC versus alt USDT? Well, I spent quite a lot of time trying to answer this question correctly for everybody, because we would always deal with it in mentoring sessions and community mentoring sessions and conversations in the members lounge and our premium Discord. And there's not a good one solution fits answer, right? Because you have to be able to answer a few questions. When I ask you, do you want to stack sats or do you want to collect dollars? And your answer might change, right? Because you might not exactly know what you want, right? Like when you're first starting out at trading, you kind of have this amorphous idea of profit, right? And unfortunately, it's generally this amorphous idea of profit that has been kind of sandbagged, I want to say, between or against, what you see about trading when you're not trading, right? So when you're a retail individual on the outside of the trading world, don't even know anything about charts, don't know anything about markets, just know what you hear on TV. Most people are just, they think of trading as, speculative gambling, and there are just big returns. And, trading is like The Big Short, where, you take just a huge position, you put your all into it, and you bank off of it. And certainly some trades are that way, but not all trading is that way. And most trading is not that way. So LTC USD. Let's make it work. Hold on. I gotta finish that though. I gotta finish that. So, if you in general though, if Bitcoin is bullish, and the easiest way for you to determine that is it above or below your baseline, right? Now you're gonna have to test your baseline yourself. You're gonna probably have to come up with your own. There are good ones out there. Grab this one if you want. Grab the Donchian. They're really good. Ichimoku system, EMA 13, Hall 60. There's really good baselines out there that are pretty universal. Now you will find, if you actually get into indicator testing, that the indicators that you select may or may not pair wisely with that baseline. Something you'll be able to figure out objectively. You just measure the results of your trading. But if you want to trade, if you want to accumulate more BTC, then you trade alt BTC pairs. You never touch USDT pairs. I think that for most market participants, you are going to be better served by trading in USDT or in some stable coin and investing in Bitcoin, right? I think that is one good way to do it. Because listen, guys, you have no idea how many times I've had these conversations, all the nuances, and you're never going to be able to find the perfect answer for you. So I will just consistently tell you guys what I do and what I've seen other people do. And there's going to be somewhere in there that's going to work for you. So I think, as with all things, when you enter into any new skill, you start off with something that is just prepackaged. Here is the box. Here's what you do. And if you do what's inside the box, you're going to make money. Eventually, you're going to get comfortable with that box, and you're going to learn how to put some rims on it, right? How to make it, do wheelies. You'll learn how to make the box do more than it was originally intended. And then if you persist long enough, well, one day, my friend, you will be a box manufacturer yourself, and you will be making maybe a completely different box. Maybe you'll be making a rectangular box. Maybe you'll be making a cylindrical box. Ooh, that was a difficult pronunciation for me on a Friday. Wow, guys. Sorry. I'm just pumped. It's a good day. It's a good day. LTC USD, specific technicals, bullish above $48.67, 0.3 if you want to go down to the little pip bet there. Everything here is bullish on the indicators. We're not getting an exit signal yet, so I would be of the mind to look for a reversal baseline bounce or to long any pullback at this point in time, or look for an objective continuation signal based on momentum. I would assume some break of about $60. The other way, there is another, again, this is another potential swing failure pattern setup that we're seeing. And you could simply take a classic breakout trade if we print a higher high. Again, that's discretion, that's price action, but I would be bullish on all dollar pairs. What do I think about the grid bot on 3,2? Mustafa Mohammed says, you know, I'm not going to lie. I had that grid bot on for about 3 months on EOS and XRP USD on Bybit. And it did pretty good. It did pretty good. I turned it off because I moved around some of my automated strategies, and I just decided to put those on hold for a little bit. So cycling your strategies is a very good idea. But I have no complaints about it. I just simply used the automated one. I think it returned on average about, 4% a month, which is pretty good. Really, really good, actually. Do I trade BTC pairs or USD pairs? Nowadays, I prefer to trade dollar tether pairs. So on Binance Margin, I prefer to trade in USDT. Right about sorry, trying to think of something. Let's just start from the beginning. Let's just start over on that one. So the answer is the real answer is both, because what I really do in effect is I hold the majority of my wealth in BTC, right? That's in cold storage. I use margin on leveraged exchanges to be able to deposit a smaller fraction of my Bitcoin than I would normally need to, and use leverage to hedge or unhedge my underlying Bitcoin position based on the trend. So if price is above the baseline, I am spot long on BTC. If price is below the baseline, I am hedged short on BTC. Again, utilizing, for me, 3x leverage so that I can keep the majority of my funds in cold storage. It's been a very effective strategy for me. It's been able to avoid the biggest losses in BTC and give me a very clean average entry. Because it really is a basic strategy. The reason why I call it aggressive is because Bitcoin moves. So there is some chop, unfortunately, right? Especially depending on your baseline. So the more sensitive your baseline, the more you're going to get chopped up, and the more you'll take net losses on your hedging. But I try to impress this upon people. It's not like PTP where you will see the results immediately. A strategy like that is more like the turtle strategy, or kind of any long-term trend following strategy where, you're only going to get it right maybe 30-40% of the time. But when you do get it right, the returns are very, very large because you're able to capture a huge trend. And so I think that, I know a lot of people struggle with hedging, particularly last year. And, I did the best I could, but that hedging strategy is not a requirement or direct part of Pathways to Profit, which is our more popular strategy creation method. It really is a separate concept of how I manage my capital in the realm of cryptocurrency and kind of what my goal is here. And so I don't like to sell my Bitcoin. I would like to hold it until it's priced much higher, which I think it will be. All I have to do is wait. So, while I do prefer trading USDT pairs, I do like to hold the majority of my, I would consider wealth or working capital in BTC, right? And again, if I need to be hedged short, I'll be hedged short, in which case I'm converting profits into USDT and keeping them in USDT, and then I'll convert back into BTC when we get a bullish signal on BTC, and alternatively with in the opposite direction if I have to be spot long. So hopefully that's not too complicated. There's a long answer. I wanted to explain it properly, and I've gone over it a lot. How to hedge and how to not hedge short. There's a video here on our YouTube channel on our Trading Crypto 101. Homo sapien says, can I explain briefly how to buy dips? I want to dollar cost average on Link. Sure. Give you a lightning round. Let's say one easy way to dollar cost average on an asset. Let's go look at Link. All right. We had a lot going on here. All right. Just like to say that this is discretionary analysis. And although I was not right in price, I was right in spirit. Okay. So anyways, moving on. Buying pullbacks in a bullish trend. All right. Well, the first thing you need to know is the trend bullish? So you're going to need some indicator or some level of analysis that lets you know at a glance, is this a bullish trend or a bearish trend? And it cannot be the color of the current candle. Easy, quick suggestion, Heikinashi. Right? Is the Heikin-Ashi trend green? Are the Heikin-Ashi candles green? Then you're in a bullish trend. Are they red? You're in a bearish trend. Not perfect, works better than nothing. All right. And then how to buy pullbacks. All right. So the reversal baseline bounce strategy tends to test the best across different asset classes. In my experience and working with other individuals who have actually put probably more work into their RBB strategy than mine. Mine's relatively simple. It's just the way that I lay it out. Just set 3 limit orders and update them every other day or so. But what's really cool about running a trading group and working with traders all day every day is you meet a lot of traders, and some of them are got really cool ideas. So that's a good part in how you grow. A good community with talented individuals, you can grow a lot. If everybody's just phoning it in, then you gotta get out there and build your own thing. Let's see here. So we talked about so baselines. So you want to see price get closer to a median price or a baseline or a moving average, for example. So you could put the say the Hall 60 up there, or a Donchian, or a moving average 13. Just find something that tends to have a good propensity for price to pull back to it before continuing off when your bullish condition is true. So we're going to just use a baseline here for this example. And in this example, we can see that the baseline is the super trend V1.0 buy or sell signal. It's an indicator that's publicly available on TradingView. You guys can go put this on your chart right now. I did not make it. Shout out to Ranjendran R. Probably mispronounced that, but yeah. So when price, you can set limit orders at your baseline. That's one way to do it. The other way would be to use a some sort of momentum or threshold oscillator or indicator. So something like RSI would be a good example here. Even though not a big fan of RSI, I think there are far better ones than RSI. But let's just look at RSI, Relative Strength Index. So for Relative Strength Index, what you want to see is price get oversold while still bullish. Okay, you will often not see this on the daily. So you're gonna have to go down to somewhat of a meso time frame. 4-hour chart works best, I think, for this. The 1-hour chart is going to give you more signals, but you're going to have a lower hit rate. And keep in mind, so here, for example, on Link USDT, the hourly RSI is about to get oversold, which is generally a good time to buy, unless the trend is just going to continue to keep on ripping, in which case RSI is going to be oversold for a while. And keep in mind here that when you're doing this, when you're going down to the lower or meso timeframes, that you're not using the baseline from that time frame. You're evaluating the baseline on the daily. So this is the way that I do it. So you go to the daily, you identify where you are in relationship to the baseline. That tells you what direction you want to be trading in. So right now I see the price is above the baseline. I do not want to be shorting Link. There are people who will trade that strategy, who will short down to the median, the baseline. I don't. I only trade in the direction of the trend. And if you guys want to know why, it's because just when you look at years of your own personal trading results, and you spend dozens of hours sorting through them and optimizing them to the best of your ability, and you see a consistent trend, you're like, okay, if I just would not have taken, these, what I thought were genius, short setups or long setups, when price was trending up or down, I would have not lost as much. I would have lost significantly less. But people always want to do this. I think it's always probably like half or more of the market that gets locked out of a huge move because, and it's okay if you get locked out, right? Like if you're in a short and then price pumps, you don't really get a good signal. You can't catch every trade. You can't catch every movement on any asset class. There have been movements on Bitcoin that have completely gone against what I thought was going to happen. And that's okay. Like I want you guys to know that that is true, what I just told you, and you can be consistently profitable. There is no third eye special wisdom here or like greater native trading ability. I mean, some people are naturally good traders because they understand risk and they are disciplined, but ultimately it's just the application of strategy that I think really separates more experienced traders from newer traders. You just see more things, learn more lingo, learn more techniques, learn more tricks. But most importantly, you become more disciplined and you follow your rules. All right, already looked at link. The pie guy says, did I close out of FET? So I do not recall FET being on my current trades list. Let's go take a gander. Maybe right over here on this screen. It's probably a good time to mention as well. That's a good time. Let's show it off. So, OBS. And for this, I'm going to need to go to studio mode. And, sorry guys, I got kind of this thing in my way. Where I'll make it rain some gold coins while we're waiting. All right, so never mind, put OBS here. And add a window capture. Cool. Now just let me edit this down. All right, sorry for the wait. That's what I was doing. All right, so this is, I wanted to show this off too, by the way. Not really show it off, but talk about it because we didn't really have a good chance. I'm gonna crop out a lot of this data on the right because we don't really need it. And that'll allow me to blow it up a little bit for you guys. Or if you guys feel like you kind of have to zoom in or something, but the best I can do on short notice. So this is our premium signal tracker, our premium signal tracking sheet. And this tracks all of the, currently the manual signals that analysts produce for the Kraken cryptocurrency analyst team. So I wanted to take this opportunity on stream to let the premium members know of a small change. So it's more of a return to the norm. So we have been, the last few months, the analysts have been trading independently, and it's actually been really good, honestly. There's been a lot of lively conversation and debate and applications of new strategies. We've been back testing like crazy and forward testing new ideas. And we've got strategies running right now that we've written the automation for that are currently being forward tested in the market. So we just launched our bottom feeder bot. So obviously, previously, if you guys have been members, we launched our Cybot, which was our first automated strategy. And after we had about a month, 2 months of live user data, and we weren't really happy with some of the nuances that we saw moving from the testing to the live application. So we did the correct thing, in my opinion, which is what any responsible person would do, is we pulled it. And we reviewed it. We're currently working on it. I think there are a lot of ways we can make it better, but we didn't let that get us down. We just continued developing the other strategies that we also had because you throw darts at a board until one works. And bottom feeder has been, crushing it is understating it over the last 2 months. So we had that running live on live price data, and we've just turned that automated strategy on live for our premium members. So you guys now have access to that in the bottom feeder bot signal channel, and we're going to be adding a lot more of those. So I am really looking forward to as soon as I personally am able to get done, which it'll be a while, but I'll get it done. All of the courses that I want to get uploaded to the Online Trading Academy, and we kind of get rid of the Google Drive, which is going to be awesome. I'm probably going to spend the rest of the year writing indicator strategies and signal strategies. So it's what I've come to like to do, and I'll be creating supplemental courses on the Online Trading Academy about how to code in Pine and build strategies in Pine and build your own strategies, and how to make that strategy tester work for you. But anyways, here are our open positions. So all the trades, all the signals that have been recommended by myself, Alex, and Jason, since these are all compiled since they were first put on. The earliest trader seems to be from the 14th of July. About 116% raw ROI so far. So pretty good start to August. And on top of this, some of these are still Alex's trades that he called last month, and some before that. So for those who have been with the group for the last 4 months, you guys would have seen this. You saw Alex have 2 red months And the reason why he had 2 red months is because he held very long-term positions open. And then in his 3rd month, when he actually got to close out his winners, right? So for 2 months, you would have seen nothing but red on his results. And you might have thought to yourself, well, this guy not very good at trading. You would have been very wrong because he just was trading differently. So he held positions for quite a long time, valid positions that he should have held per PTP. And they moved, and they moved quite a lot, and he took advantage. So big shout out to Alex, and big shout out to Patience. All right, I can't remember exactly what I wanted to show you on this. So all right, we'll just do away with that. And we will bring back the chat because I lost it. Greater native trading ability at Wise Owl's Nest. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Okay, so we were talking about Link. All right. Let's make sure that I put the data out there the way that I wanted to. So I believe the 2 strategies that we walked through on buying pullbacks was buying it in proximity to its baseline, reversal baseline bounce, buying when a lower time frame, not super low time frame, no less than the hourly, but I like the 4 hour, but the hourly will give you more signals, but you just want to be cautious on the hourly that you don't get in too early, right? So maybe just if it's going to be Link, test Link, see like, well, is it the first time RSI is oversold, or should I just take smaller trades? Like, so for example, if you can't see any strong correlation between, well, RSI dips oversold twice when Link is pulling back in a bullish trend, and it's that second one that's really a profitable one. Well, how profitable is the first one to trade? Right? Should you just wait till the second, or can you take the first one and just shoot for like a 2% profit target? So a lot of different ways to do it. And then the other way to do it, which I would generally not recommend because I think the former 2 are going to be more actionable, but something that you can certainly do is buy supported resistance, right? So we would look at the chart, we would identify some objective level to the best of our ability of horizontal resistance, let's say, because I do like horizontal levels as opposed to diagonal levels. And so there we see we actually did have something. Mark out this previous resistance. I like to use candle closes. Some people use candle highs. And I couldn't tell you the difference between our success because I only know mine. So, all right. So I remember why now. I wanted to look at that chart because of Mr. DeFi guy. He asked if we closed out of FET. And let me restate again, now that I'm going to look at this chart again with clearer eyes, but I do not, sir, I never relations with that. Okay, I'm not seeing it on my current trades. Didn't think I took FET, unless I took it last month, in which case the answer is yes, it is closed out. And I just don't recall that trade. All right, yeah, I don't see it on Alex's results either. It's possible that it's one of Trunker signals or Fibonacci signals as well. They're junior analysts and they do provide signals for the group. But I'm going to go ahead and say yes. That we close that out because we certainly don't have an open. Looked at Link. Lola Kellner says, do I trade the 2-minute or 5-minute or just the daily? Just the daily, 95% of the time, man. By the way, would you guys call this a bottom on Link? I'm not sure, but if Bitcoin dumps, more Link may likely dump with it. Yeah, so I think that the USDT pair is going to move in the same direction as BTC. So right now, if I were looking for right now opportunities, I would probably be looking at alt BTCs for range plays. So I could accumulate more BTC. And then we're going to have to wait a while to see some kind of trend flip. Everybody's going to be really because they always are. Everybody's really excited to catch the pivot move and catch the reversal in the moment, but it generally does not end well for them. All right, we got a lot of chat in here. You guys are great. Asriel says, good trade setup on Ethereum long-term daily chart. I think that the risk to reward for longing ETH far outweighs the risk to reward to not long ETH. Did I say that right? I'm bullish on Ethereum, yeah. The t-shirt is the indicator, right? Yes. Am I going to be using Trust Swap for subs in the future? I don't think so. GBU Professor Wally, good to see you, my friend. Squeaky Tadpole said, Trust Swap is a new DeFi token protocol. It came out and doing pretty good return-wise, but the product has not been made yet. Send it. Christian Martinez says, is Bybit banned in the United States? That is not. So the answer is no, right? Bybit is not banned in the United States. Bybit's policy is to preclude individuals from individuals who are connecting from a United States IP address to utilize their platform. So you can either, if you are connecting from an American IP address, you can either choose to then not use their product or service, or you can not connect from an American IP address. And I believe we have a video on that in the premium, in the Trading Crypto 101 playlist. Damien says, I was thinking about Link as a protocol today. Why would any blockchain want to pay $10 for a link every time they need to fetch off-chain info? I don't actually think that's how the protocol is designed, but if that is true, that's ridiculous. Stack sats versus make dollars. People also need to understand the tax ramifications when trading to stack sats. You know, I'll tell you this, my friend. At a certain level, for me, that level was really low. I did not want to deal with the tax information anymore. So I've told you guys what I do. My accountant is a hero. You know, I give him all the stuff at the end of the year. Now, over time, we've gotten better as far as, you know, he lets me know exactly what he needs. And over time, you learn different strategies that you can implement on your own or consult with him on. And again, I think that I've covered this a lot because this comes up. I am not advising anybody to do anything negligent with your taxes. I've always paid my taxes, and I think you guys should too. And even when, because I am pretty hardcore advocate of liberty, even when I entertained more radical ideas about the income tax, I still always paid it because there are better things to go down for than something that you're not going to win. So pay your taxes. And pay your taxes on your cryptocurrency holdings, because the day will come when they come for us all and want those back taxes, especially Bitcoin. They're going to link up all your transactions one of these days. And yeah, so make sure you pay that money. With that being said, I think that individuals should fear that less of the like obstacle that it is. So like, for an example, right? You know, I hear this from, I want to say my grandmother, but which is true, but I hear it from a lot of other people too. Like people who are not entrepreneurs or who haven't started their own business, for example, will say things like, or even some people who own businesses will say it too. So maybe I'm not trying to be too biased there, but people will say like, well, yeah, if you open up your own business, you got to do taxes and payroll and blah, 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 and this and that and all the third. It's like, yeah. And you figure it out, man. And it's great. Or it's not. And you go back to working for somebody. You know, sorry, Wally, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm portraying you in a negative light for saying that. I'm just speaking extemporaneously here. Yeah, I think that my firm opinion is that people should not be scared off of doing something that they want to do because of some boogeyman. That if they actually get good at what they want to get good at, the thing that they want to get good at, they'll figure it out, right? Like all of us traders, we all hate taxes. We figure it out, right? We still trade because presumably we're making more money than we're losing, right? For some of us. Crypto Jack saying hodling in Bitcoin can be painful, hedging can be tricky, but it can sure help during bear markets to retain some of your USD profits. Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is sit out one 60% correction and you have made it. Someone tell FTX to make an Oracle perp. Use the Schwartz. Good to see you, B-Flow. Good to see you, Brett, my friend. Going to studio. Azriel says, Justin, can I get bottom feeder? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say like hit me up because that sounds weird, but I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you can. Anybody can. IS180XT, good to see you, my friend. Wook Chewy. Jay Constant, I have not seen you in a while, my friend. Down there lifting weights on the beach. Looking swole. Akash Subramani says, do I have any pets? I do not. Do not. I actually quite love animals in their natural habitat. My house is not their natural habitat. So I grew up with my whole life, like my parents always had cats. And guys, let me just be real with you, man. I like cats. They're cute. I don't want them in my house. Just no. People, but people like, they're like, well, we love cats. I'm like, have you lived like in a cat-free house? And you just get to wake up and you're like, oh, dander. It's an amazing feeling. I'm certainly more of a dog person than I am a cat person. But again, same rule. I think they're great outside. Not on my rug. The animals that I'm actually really into. So for example, my daughter is 2.5. And in about a year, I'll be getting her first pet. And it's going to be a snake. It's going to be a garter snake. So I've done my research on this, and I've had garter snakes as pets. And they're fantastic pets for kids, right? They're very hard to handle, a little too roughly. They're very, let's say they bounce back. They're very low maintenance. They don't stink. And they're cool. So garter snakes, good pets. Obviously I was young. I've had all kinds of pets, dogs and fish and Jordan Stotts. Anyone have input on the Aber exchange? I don't. I remember when I want to say they came out and that was right along. I feel like that was right along in 2017, 2018, when a lot of things were popping off. I just I never actually ended up using it, so I don't have any input on that. Do I think I can flip my bottom feeder code to call tops? So I can't, but we do have a solution for that that we're working on. Igor says, can we use Bitcoin dominance as an indicator for alt season? And if yes, how? I mean, I don't want to say you can or can't. I haven't really tested this theory myself. It's something that I've actually been interested to test. So if somebody wants to do this and let me know what the results are, I would appreciate it. Let's see here. So let's go to, here's the Ethereum chart. Currently sitting at about 372.15, looking good. BTC.D. So obviously, when you look at any chart, you can be objective or you can be discretionary, right? You can look for trending trades or you can look for reversals, right? And I think probably the best place to start is looking at the correlation between alt BTC pairs, for example, or alt USDT pairs, for example, right? Crypto breadth indicator, which is something that we're actually currently working on, would be good for this because you can see broadly like what markets are advancing, what markets are declining. Are there any sectors that's kind of moving in conjunction with one another? But you can get all of this from crypto bubbles. You can just see, and I think I called it, guys. What was it? About 30 minutes ago, I said I think we're going to see alt BTCs pump, and that's about twice as many green pairs there. Whoa, hello, Bitcoin dominance, doing some big things there. So I think probably the easiest place to start, as I said, is looking for the correlation between, let's say, a baseline and Bitcoin dominance. And when Bitcoin dominance is above the baseline, I would assume that alt BTC suffer and that Bitcoin does pretty well. And I would assume the converse when, as we can see here, alts have been, we've been in alt season, and where have we been? Below the baseline. So maybe that's the answer to the age-old question right there. They're coming for you. Wally says, on that taxes issue, it's mainly due to trading Bitcoin pairs at least doubles the effort to calculate taxes. Yeah, at least. USDT pairs don't have that problem. Yeah. Can I look at Compound for a bounce? All right. Last time I looked at Compound, I said, all right, guys, let's do this. And then the next day I came on the stream, I was like, I hope you guys know I was kidding. Please do not buy that. Sell immediately if you did. I thought it was very evident that it was a joke, but I did not like Compound where it was the last time, but I do like Compound, right? I'm not sure if I like it above $100. Time will have to tell. This is, it hasn't worked yet. This time may be different. Let's see if we get above 63.45. All right. With that being said, I think it is time before we get too long in the tooth. Wow, it's 150. I don't even think we have time to do it. Did I just really ramble for 2 hours? He did it again, guys. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna be a man of my word, and the premium members will just have to forgive me. So I apologize if this makes anybody's schedule inconvenient, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring Jack on so we can run through the news and do what we said we were gonna do this morning. Sorry I talked so long as normal, but got a lot to say on a Friday. So while give me a few minutes to bring him on. Before we do that, if you guys enjoy the analysis, if you guys would like to learn how to trade these methods, if you guys would like to learn how to utilize these indicators and to build your own systems, whether you want to build a discretionary system or you want to build an objective trend following system, we certainly have you covered in the premium trading group. We have a ton of educational material on risk management, psychological discipline, mastering your emotions, investment psychology, as well as technical strategies, and our Pathways to Profit course, which is pretty much my life's work. Teaching people how to build systems. So we also have, it's not complete yet, but the Pine scripting tutorial, how to build strategy testers, a lot more. You can find all that information, the link at the top of the screen, premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And we are going to, let's go see how Jason is doing over there on Bybit. Like I said, only products and services that I like Lino, I like Bybit, and listen, the swag was free, guys. I'm going to take the swag at the San Francisco Blockchain Week. But let me go get Jack, and we're going to see how Jason's doing over there on Bybit. Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change. Okay. And we're back. Okay. I believe I have everything working. Let me just toss the Discord window capture on here, like so. And oh no, you guys, I'm a whole conversation with the man. That's not what I wanted to do. Jack, I hope we weren't talking about the illegal Bitcoin transactions on that screen. There you guys can see the members lounge. It's a little safer. Jeez. Let's see here. Okay. Jack, do I got you on here?
Yep, I'm on here. What's up?
All right. All right, cool.
You live? What's up, guys?
We are live. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. So, like I said, I wanted to run through some of the news that me and Jack were talking about earlier and just give us a nice close off to the week. To the premium members watching, apologies. Hope you guys are understanding this. But we do want to finish the stream. We're going to start the community mentoring session at 2:30. So we'll do news here for about 15-20 minutes, and that'll give us time to hopefully get through one article, especially if we find something that we agree on or disagree on. But so 500 messages from the same guy. I mean, it's love, man. You know, it's in the air. All right. Find the first story that you had for us here, and yeah, this is certainly something that I had read. I want to say this was yesterday. Yeah, I believe I read this yesterday about Goldman Sachs eyeing their own token.
Yep. Looks like Goldman's looking into potentially getting into a stable coin. This is after it's expanding its digital assets team and appoints a new head of their digital assets global head. Matthew McDermott is Goldman's new digital asset global head, which was confirmed after CNBC reported late last week on this development. And according to a statement by Goldman, they say that we are exploring commercial viability of creating our own fiat digital token, but it's the early days as we continue to work through potential use cases. Now, among those potential use cases is supposedly looking into how blockchain can make savings in the inefficient repo market. So if you guys are familiar, repo markets have really been in the news, it seems like, since late last year. So supposedly blockchain technology might really help with the swaps interbank for the purpose of this repo market. As they say, used by banks to lend money to one another, as well as credit and mortgage markets. So, to get a little more to the speculative side here, maybe what we might be looking at coming in the future is another 2008 style financial crisis where like liquidity freezes up, let's say, interbank, right? And maybe these banks are now kind of preparing themselves for that eventuality. And part of that might be kind of like booting up a fresh system, fully flush with like fresh new tokens that they're gonna be able to kind of print up and make the whole system liquid. So I think this is kind of like a hinting toward where the banks might be heading in the near future, which might very well be settlement systems based on blockchain, based on new coins. And you can see that clearly stablecoin is the style or is in vogue, I think, in these financial institutions right now. So that's maybe where we're heading.
Yeah, I agree with you. One of the things that I found interesting about this was, well, where my interest went was a little different. But the first thing, just kind of correlating back to what I said earlier, and I think something that I said to you earlier this morning, Jack, was, it is crazy when you, for me anyways, when I sit back and think, Goldman Sachs was, I mean, the opinion of all the major investment banks and firms and hedge funds and prop desks just 3 or 4 years ago on Bitcoin was incredibly bearish. It was just ridiculous. And now we've seen just about every massive, every large investment bank or, financial institution come out and recommend Bitcoin as part of your portfolio. So it is really crazy how change happens so quickly. And then the second place I went with this was kind of the information that we covered on, I can never remember his name. The gentleman who was Coinbase's legal counsel and then went to the office of the comptroller. comptroller of the currency,
Brian
and
Brooks.
Brian Brooks,
He was chief legal officer. Yep.
Yeah. So, all the signs point, and listen, all the signs point to the adoption of a digital fiat. This is going to be tried, or it's going to be successful. I'm certainly veering to the side that's likely going to be successful, looking at the success of fiat in our current generation and across our current societies. But it's just a much easier, it's a better technology, right? So, as I said, if you want to make good investments, just be well familiar with what technological innovations can actually improve society. This improves the performance of any financial institution, particularly when you're dealing with issues of trust or issuance, perhaps. So.
Yeah, these money markets grind to a halt, and they need a bit of a reset. This could very well be the system they perform that reset with. And like you said, if it's part of it's trust, and a big aspect of the repo markets is trust. So the whole rehypothecation issue is such that it's kind of like a game of musical chairs. Multiple banks probably have the same claim on the same collateral, and at the end of the day, it might be hard to really audit, and when the music stops, who has claim to what. And it's possible that blockchain really gives them a better grip as to who owns what collateral, and maybe tie it up in a nice smart contract bow, keeps everybody kind of squared up at the end of the day, or at the end of every minute, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's kind of more of an abstract look at what this is going to in the future. So still pretty interesting, as the Pi guy says in the live chat. It's funny, right? They've been talking ish about crypto forever, and now they do this. It's inconsistent and fake. Well, yeah, that's JP Morgan for you. They talk trash until they embrace the tech. And now that they realize that they're going to need something to flood the coffers with, they're fully on board the crypto wagon.
Yeah, if I could just make one point there from the trading realm, is it's not that I wouldn't necessarily characterize it as I can't remember exactly how you phrased it, like that they're fake or not telling the truth. It's that large institutions are generally not in the habit of, well, maybe if you did say they were fake, perhaps I am absolutely agreeing with you. Large institutions, whales, market movers, they are not in the habit of revealing their hand, right? They, and we know billions of dollars, uncountless amounts of money that these firms have, just throughout, let's say, the last 100 years of America, so let's say the last 50 years, the last 20 years, all of these scandals, Deutsche Bank, and just they all continue to come out, billions of dollars, siphoned, stolen, laundered, gained through ill-gotten means, excuse me. And especially when it comes to like large trade positions. So I guess that's maybe one fun thing to speculate on for a long period of time, which is, were these institutions actually holding Bitcoin while publicly denouncing them? Because, that is how whales would accumulate,
Indeed, it is.
Never trust the headlines, I guess, is the sum up from that, because they're always there financially to tell you. Basically, the headlines will tell you to dump a stock after it's too late. They will tell you to buy a stock after it's too late as well. Same with crypto, generally, right? But I don't know. Bitcoin, last time we saw this level of excitement about Bitcoin and starting to kind of spread out across mainstream, we had 2017 bull run. So let's go, guys.
For sure, but you can see how this trend, very much what we're seeing right now, is one of stablecoin issuance, right? That was kind of the idea behind Facebook's Libra and any number of other like upstart corporate projects, right? They're all looking to, even XRP to some degree, they're looking to have like a new form of liquidity almost. It's still, again, not one that's speculative, one that's very much stable. So it's a kind of a steady currency that everybody can depend on. But they just kind of want to be the issuers or the ones providing or extending this liquidity. So it's undeniable. There's certainly a trend for developing these digital dollars, these digital stable coins. And if you're going to ask yourself would they all be jumping on board, well, maybe there's something not quite, maybe they see something afoot, right? Maybe the traditional dollar system, the SWIFT system, the current way the dollar's denominated is going to be on the decline, and these guys are trying to position themselves to be the new issuers, I guess, of these stable coins.
Yep, totally.
Fiat peg dollars.
Maybe to the positive side, right? Like we've seen how the United States of America, rapidly appreciating their currency through money printing has made the stock market go up. So we could cross our fingers and say, well, if we just start to see a whole bunch of stablecoin printing because these people want to muscle in on the business, that's more stablecoins to buy Bitcoin. Let's go.
Really interesting idea. All right, would you hop into the next story?
Yep, got it right here. Younger investors prefer Bitcoin while older go with gold. JP Morgan says.
Indeed. So according to a JP Morgan strategist note that went out to investors and clients, according to the head strategist there, Nicholas Penitsgrov. Oh man, that's quite a name.
You're a brave man to try to pronounce that.
Penitsgrolu. At JP Morgan Chase, he made a case that younger investors often prefer Bitcoin when choosing an alternative investment, while older investors go with gold. So you can see there's a real generational gap here. Yes, gold is still king as a hedge, I guess, and as a store of value, but really quickly things change with the times, and so it's kind of interesting that again JP Morgan is kind of observing this trend shift in investment and basically advising their clients that, listen, this is a trend that's emerging, and it's possible that the future class of investors is going to be very heavy on Bitcoin and other crypto assets. So also pointing out to investors that since then it's since the COVID-19 pandemic kind of began spreading and rocking markets, crypto has outperformed equities. So again, JPM giving another nod to crypto.
Yeah. I think that, again, just kind of referencing what it was like to watch all this evolve. 2019, 2018, the narrative was institutions are coming. And now they're here, and we've seen the average kind of volume go up quite a bit. And what that generally indicates, and what we certainly hear and see on the OTC side, is that trade quantities are increasing, which is indicative of larger players entering into the market. So correlated with generally wealth managers recommending that individuals hold Bitcoin, and just correlated with the launch of new products and services, correlated with everything that's going on in the world, and obviously with people's worries about the economy. We're going to see an increased demand for Bitcoin. We're going to see an increased demand for gold. And although I think you would be foolish to not have a lot of faith and a lot of bullish price predictions for gold, Bitcoin is a real wild card here. What's amazing about Bitcoin, to me anyways, as a trader, is if you just follow the direction of the trend and let it do its thing, you will sometimes be amazed, and you can do it safely too. So
yeah, precious metals aren't going anywhere, don't get me wrong, but again, there is like a generational thing here, and whereas most of the boomers really can't even begin to wrap their heads around cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, the younger generation, obviously growing up in tech, being more receptive to the underlying aspects of the protocol, they very well might be more open to embracing this, especially as time goes on. Give it another decade, give it 2 decades, give it 3 decades. Well, we know where the boomers are going to end up, and gold just might not be that attractive and getting the new investors in. Whereas something purely digital, in the digital realm, increasingly, we're all going to be tied to our smartphones and have our digital wallets. Well, I think Bitcoin is just going to slot in really well with that. And of course, with Bitcoin having still a relatively small market cap, that promise of 10x, 100x returns going forward is sure to attract investors. Whereas gold is a little dubious, and not to say that it can't pump, guys, but if I'm gonna be coaching like a youngin on how to get into crypto and what the benefits are, it's like you can poke so many holes, especially if we're entering an era of declining trust in the system. You can poke a lot of holes in gold. You can basically cite how it's been papered over, it's manipulated for generations, and that's never going to change. And we really can't trust the central bank run gold audits and ledgers. So why not just go to a more trustless, more like the most ironclad database there is, and that's basically Bitcoin. But to a boomer, that's a tough pitch because they barely understand what a ledger or a database in the digital world even is, right? So
Yeah, well, we'll say, as they say, you just let time go on, and history will decide the winner. I think. Listen, gold is a fantastic, beautiful yellow metal. I have a bit of it. I like to look at it. I like to collect precious metals physically, and more so in paper form until the last few years, but increasing my physical purchasing, and I enjoy it. It's really nice, and it does make me feel secure. I do enjoy the investment, but I just know. When I think about what I think is logically going to happen in the future, Bitcoin, digital technology, is a better solution to the problem. So eventually, that is going to grow and usurp and take everything over, just like Walmart took over mom and pop shops because it was more efficient at it. So, history progresses with technology, and I think we're going to see this go down on the side of Bitcoin. Having said that, I think that there's a long life history for gold and silver, not only as industrial elements, but also as beautiful metals. And again, sources of hard money. You brought up some good issues there. We just covered not too long ago, all that Chinese gold that turned out to be not really gold. So there is an issue of trust. So I guess maybe the Bitcoin narrative here is, guys, we want to have hard money just like gold, but let's just start fresh. You guys keep that gold. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be awesome. But we're just going to start fresh with a safer, sounder monetary system.
Certainly a route to store value in going forward, particularly if we do see some kind of economic decline and maybe, who knows, another round of gold confiscation in our lifetime. Well, maybe not it'll be the first round for most of us. All right. But yeah, let's hop into the next story real quick. Let's wrap this up. We do have a mentorship session.
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind, I think we should just probably get ready for the mentorship session. It's going to take about 10 minutes to prepare for it.
That's fair. We will have to pick the rest of this up later, guys.
Yeah, I apologize for rambling on so long in today's show. A lot of good topics, a lot of good questions, good audience engagement. So we'll get in on Monday and review the news as well. And get your takes on that as well. Thank you so much for joining me for today's stream, Jack. I appreciate it.
No worries. Cheers, guys. Buy your Bitcoin this weekend.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first from Jack himself. He said, buy your Bitcoin this weekend. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until Tuesday. Listen, you guys do any buying, make sure that it's by your strategy and by your rules. And above all, although, again, we do some amazing TA, we are lucky enough to share some great charts from our members as well. At the end of the day, it is not amazing technical analysis or asset picking or stock picking skills or coin picking skills. At the end of the day, what generates consistent profit at my household and everybody else that I talk to is emotional discipline and position sizing. So manage your risk like you would manage someone you love, because you are ultimately responsible at the end of the day for your own trading capital, for what you are currently doing in the market. So honor your capital, man. Honor your capital. Make wise investment decisions with it. Make wise trading decisions with it. And I think the best route to do that, the best way to do that, is to develop a strategy where you can get all the dark, evil stuff out of your decision-making process, which is generally in your own head. All right. We will be back on Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this Friday stream. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below. We'll do our best to respond to you as quickly as we can. Until Monday, join us in the Discord, discord.crackencryptocurrency.com. I don't think I have the lower third thing up here. Yeah, I do. It's right here. Boom. You guys can follow us on your social media platform of choice. And be good, guys. Trade safely. Cheers.